think for the family, the important thing would be to find Bundy.
In 1989, just before his execution in Florida, serial killer Ted Bundy confesses to several murders here in Utah. Salt Lake County Detective Dennis Couch made those recordings. His main goal, to find where Bundy buried those young women.
Good for Utah's Marcos Ortiz picks up the story right after Bundy confessed to killing Utahn Debbie Kent.
Kent died in Bundy's apartment, but he would never reveal details of her death.
That's why it's so much easier for me to try to locate the body than it is to talk about the actual thing. Sure. It's just so much more positive, such as it can be.
Kent's body had never been found, but using the map, Bundy steered Couch to Highway 89 near Thistle and Manti.
I was just driving, and in the dark, late at night, and not very conscious of much of anything else. And I can kind of remember, well, I'm trying to remember the number of little turns this road made.
In his mind, Bundy saw the Volkswagen pass the town of Fairview and head into the mountains.
Several miles. Oh, well, this should help. There seemed to be, just in the outskirts of this town, iron barrier. It's a gate that swung across the roadway. It looked like it closed off that road for some reason.
How deep was the grave?
Approximately 3 feet. 2 to 3 feet deep.
Did her clothes remain with her?
No.
By now, the half hour with Bundy had turned into an hour.
And I was extremely frustrated with what was taking place, but I know that Bundy wasn't going to open up and talk to me anymore about any of the girls that he was responsible for.
My mind is tied in knots right now. Everything together, and I'm having a hard time.
Couch still had 4 girls to cover: Melissa Smith, Laura Amy, Nancy Baird, and Nancy Wilcox, whom Bundy recalled snatching her near Holiday.
I don't remember exactly what she was wearing. She was wearing like casual clothes.
Were you able to have any conversation with her?
Not really. Not much. I mean, nothing noteworthy. She was ushered into there and restrained and then placed in the car and taken to the apartment.
At what point would she have been killed?
The next day.
Couch said Bundy gazed at the map and remembered heading south with Wilcox's body.
It's late at night, and you're just making sure you're obeying the speed limit, because you know that there's probably some cop in that town is going to try to make his quota with you.
On the map, he recalled passing through Scipio, Fillmore, Beaver, before pointing to the area near Capitol Reef National Park.
We need better maps. That would help. We need just a clearer picture of what it looks like.
Couch showed Bundy the pictures of Nancy Baird, Melissa Smith, and Laura Amy.
They're just having a hard time placing the names. Are starting to get all mixed up. I don't remember a name. I don't know who it was. It could have been one of these.
Bundy had no recollection of encountering Smith or Amy, but he denied killing Baird. The interview with Bundy inside the Florida prison was now approaching an hour and a half. Couch knew Bundy was exhausted, but the detective also felt Bundy wanted to clear his conscience.
I'm not looking for anything.
I know.
I don't know. I understand now a lot of stuff about myself that I didn't understand then, and it makes me realize what was going on. It doesn't, the senselessness of it appalls me, although I'm sure not as much as those who were so close to it.
It was the closest Bundy ever came to offering an apology.
But I think for the family, the important thing would be to find Bundy.
Using Bundy's directions, searchers later found one small kneecap bone belonging to a young woman believed to be Debbie Kent. And despite a search near the Capitol Reef National Park, Nancy Wilcox's remains were never found.
Well, it was probably the worst experience of my career. I think about it a lot, and I especially think about the loved ones and the families, in particular the Kents and the Wilcox, that they never had closure.
On the day Bundy was executed, Couch got a call from the Florida warden. Bundy had confessed to another Utah murder, 15-year-old Susan Curtis, who vanished while attending a youth conference at BYU. And like some of the other young women in Utah, her body was never found. In the studio, Marcus Ortiz, Good for Utah.
Marcos, thank you. January 24th, 1989, Bundy's evil journey through Washington, Idaho, Colorado, and Utah came to an end. If you'd like to hear Bundy's confession in its entirety, because there's much more, it's available on our website at goodforutah.com.